right now on 5 on your side at 10.
Well, after a while, with no rain, we're starting to see more of it pop up throughout the region, and this significant rain will impact us over the next few days. When it arrives and how much rain we're going to get to start the week.
A runaway deer causes mayhem inside an Overland nail salon.
It was so scary and awful. It's awful.
The next steps for the salon owner after her insurance won't cover the costs to repair. But first, Election Day now in sight, but thousands still casting their ballots early.
I'm afraid that it would be even longer if I waited until Tuesday.
How voters are making their voices heard both in the polling booth and on the streets. Good evening, everyone. I'm Robert Townsend. We are seeing record-breaking early voting turnout across the St. Louis area. Today, our Travis Cummings stopped by one of the crowded polling places in St. Louis County.
I'm afraid that it would be even longer if I waited until Tuesday.
That's the thinking of most people, and lines like this went across St. Louis today. 3 days before Election Day, crowds wrapped around St. Louis County Grant View Library branch to cast their ballots early. The line count reader captured hundreds at one point.
Yeah, how long have you guys been waiting today?
1 hour and 21 minutes.
Lisa Swires was happy to wait with her 18-year-olds, Gavin and Caleb, voting for the first time.
Makes me proud. They did their research. They know who they're going to vote for and all the things that they needed to do.
The young men are proud to be a part of the nation's future.
I think I just want to have my voice be heard by the government, have my vote count. It was just interesting to see all the different opinions of people and what people are wanting and not wanting for our country. It's just interesting.
Voters have a few hot issues on their radar.
Amendment 3 is a big one. Also the presidency.
I think it's really critical for all women, for one, because we should have the right to say what we do with our bodies. That's one of the main reasons why I came here today. Sore back and all is worth it.
With a high turnout on early voting, Election Judge Allison Gorga says voting on Election Day itself is not a bad idea either.
The afternoon, late afternoon and evening tend to be less busy. I think people like to go to the polls before work.
Gorga says if you're mailing in an absentee, it has to make it by 7 p.m. on Tuesday night.
But if it says it's sent but not received, what we can do is in our system spoil your absentee ballot before it arrives to the County Board of Elections, and then we will print you a new ballot then.
Overall, this packed parking lot is a good sign of civic duty.
How did it go?
Good.
Travis Cummings, 5 on your side.
Monday is the last day to cast an early vote in Missouri. Now, for details on how to check polling place wait times, you can find the article in the As Seen on TV section of KSDK.com.
Stop using us as political footballs. Our lives are at stake.
As many exercise their right to vote, others exercise their freedom of speech. Hours ago, demonstrators hung banners over the Interstate 64 overpass by Dogtown, supporting Amendment 3, which would legalize abortion in Missouri. Now, organizers say politicians are spending hundreds of thousands of dollars that mislead the public.
They have been saying that the Amendment 3 will make possible gender reassignment surgery and trans bathrooms. This is not true. Amendment 3 is purely about reproductive health and protection for women and their dedicated health workers.
Now, those opposed to the abortion amendment are also ramping up their messaging. You can learn more about Amendment 3 and what it would do right now in our voter guide on KSDK.com or by scanning the QR code on your screen. 5 on your side is your home for the election. We'll stream live on 5 Plus from 6 p.m. to 11 that night on your Roku, Fire, or Apple TV. To find out, just search KSDK in the App Store. Tonight, the fire at a battery recycling plant in Fredericktown, Missouri is now under control. Officials tell us crews are actively suppressing any hotspots at the critical mineral recovery facility. An evacuation order, however, stays in place for about 25 nearby homes. The EPA is monitoring the air quality around the facility and water testing is happening downstream. Right now, officials recommend that people should not use any water from Village Creek due to contamination concerns. Now, there are no known impacts to drinking water. A community hotline has also been set up. That number is 314-576-9134.
Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
Tonight, an Overland Nail Salon still cleaning up the mess left behind by a trapped deer. New tonight, Andy Kroll takes us inside the VL Nail Salon to hear how this unexpected visitor is impacting their bottom line.
Yeah, go ahead, Mike. Little boot.
A 4-point buck leaving behind a big mess inside VL Nail Salon after breaking through the front window around 11:30 a.m. on October 25th. The owner, Lily Vo, isn't sure where it came from since the salon is off of busy Woodson Road and Theodosia Avenue. At the time, Vo was helping some of her 9 customers when the deer locked in on her business.
When I look up and I heard the boom, it sounds really loud. It's like a bomb.
This is the very same window that deer ran through in the footage, boarded up on Saturday. But for people who were inside when it happened, they tell me it's a scary memory that's hard to forget.
Everybody was screaming and scary, and then I tried to let everybody out. We was very lucky.
She opened the salon 21 years ago, never expecting to need 3 Overland police officers in her shop like this.
When he ran back there, and then we really scary, and then everybody didn't know what happened, and then it was so scary and awful. It's awful.
The aftermath, we do want to warn you, is graphic.
The deer he took a good tour everywhere from all the station and messed up everything, and he got hurt because he pushed the window and he got cut from the glasses. That's why he got the cut very bad, and then it was a bleed everywhere.
And it's going to cost more than $1 to fix all of this. Insurance won't pay for any of the estimated $14,000 in repairs because the store's policy isn't covered by animal damages. They're also not taking walk-ins right now, which impacts about 50% of their customers, but they're glad the deer escaped safely.
Oh, he's tired, bud.
Annie Kroll, 5 on your side.
2 months after the death of a Columbia High School soccer player, his team continues to honor his legacy. 15-year-old Crawford Bryant died in a car crash on September 1st. Now, since then, the Columbia boys soccer team has gone undefeated. Earlier today, the team won the Super Sectional and is heading to state next week. Bryant's teammates wore his number on their arms while his cleats and jersey sat right beside them on the bench.
They're playing inspired right now. After every game, they take his jersey out there with them, celebrate the win with them, and it's been incredible. The community's been amazing. Neighboring communities have been outstanding, and it's just we've come together more as one.
The Columbia boys soccer team will play in the state semifinals Thursday night. The final clap backs in a historic presidential battle.
The man is out for unchecked power.
She can't handle anything, but she's not equipped for that. She's not a president.
Where Harris and Trump stand in the race for the White House and the unannounced trip for the vice president tonight. In a few hours, we're getting another hour of sleep, or are we?
They're not going to sleep in the morning, and then they'll be more sleep deprived and more tired the following night.
How to safeguard your sleep as daylight saving time ends.
After dry days in a row, we're going to start to see the humidity rise again, and as it interacts with this cold front, significant rainfall for some in the region and maybe even severe potential. We'll highlight why maybe another return of some nighttime strong storms.
Tonight, a gala to help kids in the foster care system. The My Life in a Bag Foundation put together this event. Its goal to raise $75,000 to provide clothes, hygiene products, and especially luggage to kids in foster care. Organizers tell us many times these kids only have a trash bag to carry their valuables.
And so we're really setting out to try to eliminate that practice. But we go beyond that, and we're developing programs to provide mental health assistance, mentoring, literacy programs, all aimed at helping the youth in the foster care system.
Rapper Daryl DMC McDaniels was also there tonight. He was once in the foster care system and is now a supporter of the foundation. Tonight, Jazz took over Cherokee Street for the annual Jazz Crawl. It's a tradition that started back in 2012. More than 30 live performers got a chance to show off their talents along storefronts and the street as many fans watched and danced. They also walked in these parades and a lot more. Now the Jazz Crawl wrapped up with an all-styles dance battle and final concert by Marquise Knox.
Well, we've had a little rain recently, but still, we're starting to increase our drought. No surprise there, but while we're looking at extreme drought to the southwest, may be done in a matter of days. We'll highlight our rain chances ahead.
With only 3 days until Election Day, Vice President Harris and former President Donald Trump are hitting battleground states, and as the polls show, it's an extremely tight race. NBC's Gabe Gutierrez reports on the campaign trail.
Tonight, with early voting wrapping up in North Carolina, the final rush is on for both candidates in this critical battleground. Their planes even side by side on the tarmac.
Make no mistake, we will win.
Hello, North Carolina. This is going to happen. I predict, let's make a prediction. This will happen on Tuesday, I think, right? This will happen on Tuesday.
Around the country, more than 70 million votes have already been cast. Harris, why do you support the vice president?
Because I want a better life in this country, and I want everybody to be united.
What's the biggest issue in this race for you? Democracy. With the election now 3 days away, Vice President Harris also rallying supporters in battleground Georgia.
I don't believe that people who disagree with me are the enemy. He wants to put them in jail. I will give them a seat at the table.
Largely sidelined from the campaign trail in recent weeks, today President Biden speaking to union members in must-win Pennsylvania.
3 days to Election Day, and the stakes couldn't be higher.
Meanwhile, former President Trump with an unexpected stop, Virginia.
We're going to win Virginia, you know that. We got to get out and
Not considered a swing state this year, but his team thinks it could be in play.
It's very, very exciting to be here. First Trump rally ever.
I feel like he's going to do really well.
Harris also calling Trump's controversial comments this week about former Congresswoman Liz Cheney disqualifying. He doubled down on them last night.
But if you gave Liz Cheney a gun and put her into battle facing the other side with guns pointing at her, she wouldn't have the courage or the strength or the stamina to even look the enemy in the eye.
Vice President Kamala Harris is set to make an appearance tonight on Saturday Night Live. Now, the Associated Press reports she made the unannounced trip to New York following a campaign stop in North Carolina. Harris was scheduled to fly to Detroit ahead of a campaign event Sunday. You can watch tonight's all-new episode of Saturday Night Live right here on 5 on Your Side. Daylight saving time ends in a couple of hours. While we may gain an extra hour of sleep tonight, health experts say you might actually lose sleep overall. That's because so many people stay up late after the time change. Even an hour can throw off a sleep schedule. Now, on top of that, listen to this. About 1 in 3 people in the United States gets less sleep than the recommended 7+ hours. That lack of good sleep can lead to health problems from cognitive decline to heart disease.
Anytime there's a big time change, we tend to lose sleep or experience lower quality sleep. We see higher rates of workplace safety accidents per se in the fall when people become sleep deprived because they've stayed up later but woke up at the same time. We also see a lot of mood changes and higher rates of depression.
To make sure you and your family get enough sleep after the time change, here are a few tips. Use a blue light filter on your phone, sleep in a cool, dark room, avoid long naps during the day, and get some sunlight when you wake up to help reset your internal clock. Lots of good advice there. No doubt with that time change, we're getting ready for a change in our weather. Meteorologist Gary Frank is here now. Hey, Gary.
Yeah, let's get our naps in the room, right, Robert? I mean, come on. Like, you got kids. I don't have kids, but you got kids. They're going to wake up anyway. I mean, come on. Like, we hear the same stuff every year, guys. I mean, it's just always going to be this way. It's always going to stink, and after 10 days go by, you're going to forget it happened, except the fact that it gets dark at 4:30. That's what stinks, and it doesn't feel like summer anymore, right? It doesn't feel quite like the fall yet. It's 60 degrees still. Keep in mind, even at this hour, just shy of 11 o'clock, our average high 62. So we're above that even, and that's where you know things are a little different, right? Something's looming for us. And I think as we're going to see temperatures in the 50s fall, clouds are continuing to increase. They're going to act as a blanket on the Missouri side, starting to work their way in. But over the next several hours, you'll notice that we'll see that rain. Watch where it's starting to move. And this is not really holding together in that sense, but it's also going to be all part of the system that's really going to fill in. Watch all this rain off to our southwest. That is a steady diet of rain that we're talking about alleviating some of this drought. But for us, look at that flash flood watch. Those are the areas that are under that drought that I just talked about. Look at all that significant drought. And you say, how can you go from an extreme drought to a flash flood watch and warning? That's the amount of significant rain that we're going to see. All part of this warm front, which is not settled in just yet. It will tomorrow morning. You'll see that as the humidity starts to rise tomorrow morning. And we'll start off with a few showers around. I don't think there's any significant rain, but there will be some light to moderate rain periods at times as that front moves through. Then we'll get a nice break. There's a lot of dry time tomorrow. And then we'll see that secondary round that settles in the afternoon. We'll just pause there. I know it really fast forwarded. Sunrise tomorrow at 6:31. That's your main difference. Temps in the low 70s, and then for tomorrow we'll see clouds off and on. A lot of dry time tomorrow. That's not a day I'm really concerned about, but as we look ahead, we're going to have significant rainfall along that stalled front by Monday evening somewhere in the region, and that also brings in some severe potential as well. Now our severe threat on Monday is low. It's better off to the southwest. Now as that settles in, we're going to watch this line in the middle of the night again, and I think it holds together to some degree. It's not as favorable an environment, but this could be another one of those things where it wakes us up in the middle of the night with some loud thunder or maybe an isolated severe storm or two. That's what we're looking at as far as our next weather impact alert days. Locally heavy rain, wind gusts of 40 to 60 miles an hour, and some of our impacts may include localized flooding. I'm not expecting widespread flash flooding or anything like that, but damaging wind with a brief tornado is not out of the question either. So that's going to be something that we're looking ahead for here for Monday into Tuesday. As far as rainfall is concerned, you're still looking at between 2 to 4 inches of rain in some cases off to our west, but 1 to 2 inches for everyone else. So significant rain is settled in here with a few showers in the mid-70s. Our weather impact alert days are Monday into Tuesday as we continue to look at that potential for some heavier rain at times, and will dry out. But right now holds into Election Day at least a little bit, so prepare for that if you're standing in some of those long lines that we're going to see.
Yeah, hey, I appreciate it. Thank you. Michaela, what's happening in sports tonight?
Well, Robert, St. Louis gave former Blues head coach Craig Berube a warm welcome back, but the show must go on. We'll take a look at Blues versus Maple Leafs coming up in sports.
This 5 on Your Side Sports Report is sponsored by Telly Tire and Auto Centers, driving your way since 1942.
Craig Berube is back in town for the first time since parting ways with the Blues. The Maple Leafs were looking for some revenge after their last rendezvous up in the north. The Blues hoping to break a 3-game losing streak. If you blink, you'll miss it. Long shot from the line, but Toronto's Mitch Marner there for the rebound. Early goal for the Maple Leafs. Blues head coach Drew Bannister said pucks to the net was the goal of this game, and that's exactly what we saw tonight. Colton Parayko with a 93-mile-per-hour straight shot. I wouldn't want to get in the way of that one. Parayko leading the charge here, pushes it up to Holloway. Somehow, the puck finds its way back to Parayko, and it's good. His second goal of the night. Blues beat the Maple Leafs 4-2. Tough loss for Berube as he thinks back on his time in St. Louis.
A lot of good things happened here, and had a lot of, a good run here, and made, just, your the teammates, the organization, the players, the trainers, and, I'm close with all those guys, so a lot of good memories.
The Fighting Illini looking for a bounce-back win today. They played Minnesota this morning at Memorial Stadium. The Gophers coming off of a 3-game win streak. The Gophers setting the tone. Luke Altmaier makes a read, keeps it, but not for long. Fumble on the play, and Minnesota comes up on top. Illinois down 7. Altmaier handoff to Josh McCray, stays on his feet and takes it all the way for a touchdown. Fourth quarter, Orange needing an answer. Altmaier pass to the corner, and it is caught by Zachary Franklin. Great catch. Final stretch here, and it is Gophers' Max Brosmer finding wide open Jamison Gears. Number 24, Illinois falls to Minnesota 25-17.
This 5 on Your Side St. Louis City SC coverage is sponsored by Together Credit Union.
It's November, and the only professional team keeping our championship dreams alive right now is St. Louis City 2. They traveled down to Arlington to face North Texas SC in the MLS Next Pro Western Conference Championship. Not too much action to show you in the first 90 minutes. Both teams playing physical. In fact, we had 6 total yellow cards on the night. A very even game through the first half. And then we go into the last 30 minutes of extra play. North Texas pushing forward. It's in the lead with a cross. Dangerous territory. Anthony Ramirez puts the ball in the back of the net. North Texas goes on to win 3-0 and are your MLS Next Pro Western Conference champions. The Billikens women's soccer team secured an A-10 regular season championship, and now they're looking to win the A-10 tournament. Izzy Lubert on the corner, Davidson goalie goes for the miss, and it finds the foot of Lucy Schwartz. Bills up 1.
1-0 Bills.
Second half, Billikens on the attack, and Davidson gets called for a handball on the cross attempt. St. Louis native Lindsay Heckel steps up for the PK. And guess what? It's good. SLU beats Davidson 2-0 and advances to the semifinals. They'll play St. Joseph's on Wednesday.
Big win for them. They're definitely looking for those semifinals.
Oh, yeah, they are. I mean, they can bring this championship home.
Cool. Right, we wish them well. That's all of us we're going to have for you tonight. Saturday Night Live, if I can get that out, it's just ahead, everybody. Have a good evening, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow.